Hello and welcome back to another episode of Inside the Project. Today we'll be looking at yet another song from the new Mors Principium Est album 7. I will be opening the original Cubase file and we'll have a look at what the hell is going on inside this song. There's a lot going on. I would like to just say thank you very much for the 10,000 subscribers, by the way. I had a lot of requests for this song. This song today we're going to look at is Master of the Dead. There's a hell of a lot of synths going on here. It's very much, I think, a throwback to the Liberation album era of Mors Principium Est. It was my intention on this album to create more of a balanced album, almost like a best of every album. And I think this song in particular, Master of the Dead, is a fan favorite. I think it's a standout song. It's certainly one of my favorites from the album. So it's a pleasure to dive in with you now. I have it open here, but in the original Cubase folder, we have MPE album 7 and all the fun stuff going on in there. Working title for this one was actually Isildur. The reason was I worked with a synthwave producer called Isildur, and you can find him on Spotify and all the rest of it. And we worked on a sort of synthwave song together, and it kind of inspired me. I don't know. At the time, I was getting into a lot more of the synthy kind of stuff, and I changed it just slightly. Isildur, kind of a reference to Lord of the Rings as well, even though it's spelt differently. I'm not going to go into it. You know, the name isn't really important to begin with, although it's funny to look at this Stranger Things metal demo. So I think there were two working titles for this song, and you'll see why I've called it if you haven't heard the song already. Of course, I implore you to go and check out the new Mors Principium Est album 7. Wonderful journey through musical madness. Apologies in advance if this project starts to wobble a little bit, because there's a hell of a lot going on here. A brief overview. We've got it color-coded already. And if you've joined me on any of these videos before, you'll know I like to color-code in sections. And yeah, it looks a bit daunting to begin with, I'll admit. There is a lot going on. But we'll break it down piece by piece. And let's just listen to the intro first, and then I'll stop, we'll go back, and we'll listen to what all this stuff is, because this looks very interesting. And I can't actually remember half of it. So So, I'll break this down. Most of the synths are coming from Omnisphere 2, which is my favorite power synth. I fully recommend this to anyone. It has pretty much every sound you can imagine. And I used it a hell of a lot on this album. In fact, I use it on pretty much anything I do. If I'm scoring a game, or if I'm scoring a film, or any genre really, it does pretty much everything. Don't know if it has a flugelhorn, but I have another way to get hold of a flugelhorn. And I'm using, let me see what I'm using here. So Fat Sid Response apparently is the name of this synth. It's that kind of arcadey, video gamey thing. It's very cool. And that's just an arpeggio, and that's awesome. And I've got that rising up there with the volume here, and I'm using Damage, which bizarrely is panned left by 80, which is, I think, because I have another one panned right by 80, yes. So together, those two sound like this. Oh yeah, that's fun. Just giving you that kind of techie percussion. Damage is also fucking amazing. Excuse my French. The boys' choir. Now, I've gone for a boys' choir. Why have I done that? Well, I think that little subtle, sweet innocence adds a nice little bit of flavor to the mix. Just a nice little three-part harmony from the boys there. Well done, boys. And then we have notch in space, notch in retro space, sort of reflecting the arpeggios in the fat SID response. So together they sound like that. So it just sort of adds that spacey feel. See, you could probably get away with just using one or two of these things, but I like to layer up. I like to layer up and just make things sound a bit more interesting and add more layers and dimensions. Make the song sound a bit more 3D. My alarm's going off. It's saying I need to stop working and take a break for my mental health, but I'm not going to do that today. Here we go. Perpetual burnout. Yay. Okay, SID chip strung out. This is another Omnisphere patch, and I've tweaked all these patches, but more or less they're the same as they were. And this is all very arcadey and retro gamey, and I love that. So introduce the notch in retro space, introduce the fat SID response, and you get this very 3D kind of soundscape. And then I've got this fun thing called pop drops. So at the moment, you've now got 4 layers doing the same arpeggio, and I believe this is going to do... okay, so a little bit different now. This is more of like a ostinato type arpeggiated riff thing. And I found this patch, and I was like, holy shit, this sounds like fucking Stranger Things. And this is how, you know, that working title of Stranger Things developed. I love that sound. How does Stranger Things go? Maybe we could write that quickly. Let's take that to there. Yeah, that's totally it. I think that one goes up. And then maybe we can bring these ones up. Something like that. Anyway, it reminded me of that. Let's get on with this. So all together, all of that stuff together sounds like this. And then I've got the strings playing a very subtle line there to join the choir. You can tell actually that let's just open this up a little. The choir and the strings are kind of almost exactly the same. And that's the intro of the song, which is in grey. So you can see all of that here. And then I've got this crazy, well, it's not that crazy, is it? But it's a reverse cymbal. Just a reverse crash that has been dropped firmly in the hole, which is lovely. And then I've got a G sharp subdrop for some reason. I don't know if you'll hear that if you're listening to this on a phone, but it's one of those bollock droppers, as I like to call them. Never ever said that, but I'm going to say it from now on. Anyway, then we go into the red section, which I think... Okay, so it's basically everything's coming together and we're going for it. We're going full speed into the red section. Maybe I should talk a little bit about rhythm guitars on this track before we jump into that section. Following on from the rest of the album, you may have seen the other Inside the Project videos. I like to dip in and out of quad tracking and double tracking. So for a riff that's quite intricate like this one, I'll just pan that hard left, hard right. I realise the video might flip that the wrong way around, I don't know. Okay, and then you've got this section, which is clearly quad tracked. There's 4 guitars, but they're technically playing different things. So you have, let me play you these first. My God. Okay, and then you have these 2 guitars. playing the octave above, together, really fat, really thick. You want it to sound like a wall of sound. You want it to sound like just one big ass chunky boy. Alright, so that's that riff. But I'm going to come back because there were some more guitars here. These are just very simple chugs, only double tracked. Because then we've got the intro riff phaser guitar that comes in here. Playing the main riff. I think Plek, because this was all mixed finally at the end by Plek at the Panic Room in Sweden. I think he probably put a phaser on the end of that. We could probably quickly do that. Just shits and giggles. Let me see, what's a good one? Smooth Leslie. Alright, Leslie. It's a bit weird, that's my mum's name, so. So that comes in there. Joined by left and right, without the phaser, without the smooth Leslie, and a bit more rough around the edges. And then these guys, very ominous. Then into the red. Strings there, just doing some little sprinklies on top. It's the icing on the cake, really. And all of this stuff carries on. If I'm shouting, I'm sorry, because I'm probably shouting over how loud it is in my earphones. And that's probably not going to make for a very good video. Okay, so the orange section really signifies the verse 1. So we've had the intro, and we've had the intro that's exploded into the full version of the intro. Basically balls out everyone's involved. Orange section, verse 1. Now we're going to go into the yellow section, which I believe, I have to remember because I've not actually dived into this in quite a while. Let's see when I started making this song. Isildur. Does it say date created somewhere? Let's have a look. Created on the 8th of July, 2019. So this was about a year and a half ago that I started on this one, so it's probably one of the last ones I wrote for the album. And this section it goes into now is kind of a pre-chorus, I guess, and it's, or the second half of the verse, if you will, either way. And this is all about being a kind of atmospheric. So you've got a left and a right guitar doing this. I'll just play one at a time. Octave chords, left and right, I like to do that. Choir, strings, guitars. That big sound. It's all very space-like. I think a lot of this album, I don't know, seems to take some kind of inspiration from space, I think. So this purple section is actually the chorus. It's the O Master part. Without the vocals, and you just look at this as an instrumental, it can serve as a chorus, but it can also serve as a pre-chorus. So in this instance, this is definitely the chorus. It's strange for me to write a chorus like that because usually it would be this kind of triumphant thing with a lead guitar soaring through it, but it's more, I don't know, subdued and hooky, and it's not this big open space melodic chorus. Yeah, I think the breakdown serves as having those sorts of sections, which is really interesting. It makes this song very interesting, makes the album a little bit more varied as well. So just listen to this going into the what we're now calling the chorus, which is clearly the chorus if you've listened to the album. And I decided to put a cool ending on this, so it's not just the same as, you know, it just goes into the next bit. I wanted to have something a little bit cooler going on here. I like that. It's just a little tail at the end. I remember tracking these chugs, and you can see how tightly tracked they are. Although I don't know what this guy was doing. He's coming a bit early. But tighter than a duck's anus. Really, the whole point of getting it tight is to lock in with the kick drum. So if I play the kick on its own, and then play the guitars with it, you want it to sound as one. You want it to lock in, and you know, it's so important on those chugs. It's got to sound locked in. So you no longer really interpret that as guitar or drums. It's just this one entity that is just slamming its way through. Interestingly, on this section, we still have all of this nonsense going on. A little bit different this time. So it goes, does this thing. Oh, that's awesome. You forget, you do so many layers that you forget what's in the song, and it's quite pleasant to listen back. Cool, I'll touch on that in a second. There you go. I mean, there's 5 layers pretty much doing the same sort of thing. Then there's this kind of thematic motif going on with the guitars, lead guitars. And that's bolstered by this strings, the staccato strings. It's a very Morsy thing that we do. That's sick, I can't even remember writing that. What the hell was I doing there? Just paste that back together so you can see it in one. That's fun. I think I drank a lot of Red Thunder when I did that one. Because I'm running OBS, the computer's freaking out a little bit. I'm just going to jump back to the intro because there's one thing I forgot. Someone asked me, a few people have actually asked me, how do I program drums, and can I talk a little bit about the, you know, writing drums and stuff. I won't touch too much on that in this video, but I will go into it a little bit more, as I haven't done it on any of the other songs yet. So obviously for this album, I wrote all the drums with MIDI preliminarily. So preliminary? Maybe that's a word. I'm going to Google that. I'm going to Google that right now. Preliminarily. Preliminarily, hell yeah, dude. So I would preliminarily write these drums in order for them to be tracked eventually by Marko Tomila, a Finnish drummer who played on the Liberation album, funnily enough, and he played drums on this album too, did a fantastic job. And you know, obviously my MIDI tracks that you're hearing now are program drums, because this is the original sort of demo project. Although the guitars and the synths and everything that you're hearing, other than the drums, will be exactly how they sound on the album, more or less. So with these drums, I've got the kick and the snare doing this in the intro, and Plek would have added a fair bit of Black Hole, I believe, to this. So let's do that now. Black Hole, oh, there it is. Oh, baby. Throw it in the hole, baby. Fuck yes. I mean, it's ridiculous, but I love it. sounds so great. What the hell's going on outside? Fuck's sake. You know, writing the drums, it's Stephen Slate drum samples. And this is kind of how it sounds. I like to write the drums in with the mouse and then change the velocities up here, so I'm not one of those people who plays it in on drums, each one. So that's just me trying to humanize it. But for these demos, I won't mess around too much. It's all very tight to the grid. Play a couple of fills. So obviously this won't sound exactly the way that Marco played it on the final version. There'll be little changes here and there. But this is how I imagined it, and this section's cool. Very unusual kind of pattern there for me to write. There we go. Okay, and then we've got that cool tail end again, the end of this chorus. Now we're into spice territory. This is the spicy bash of the breakdown section. So we're just playing the intro again, and it's kind of, I mean, it's exactly what it says on the tin. It's a breakdown. We stop and we start again, and it's like that kind of oh shit moment in the song, which I love. Leslie's back. Nice. Okay, so you're expecting it probably to go back into one of the previous sections after this. We've heard this before. But we're going to go into the lime green section, which is all this. And we're going to find out what that is now. Now, I toyed with the idea of recording those vocals myself, this sort of choir thing. I don't think I ever got round to it, so I think we just went with the boys' choir. And I don't know how this came to me. It just came to me, this whole section in one. It was just this epic moment, and it just reminded me of, like, it's got this real dark quality to it, in my opinion. That's how it sounds to me. And that just has this really somber, almost like Russian military feel or something. I'm not really sure what I mean. Well, I know what I mean, I just can't describe it. It's sad, it's somber. It sounds kind of Eastern European to me. And it just hits me in the feels, man. Just give you the synths on their own now. I'm so glad I get to do these videos because I get to show you all these layers that you might not necessarily have heard before. I even look back on these and I forget things. It's cool that the strings here are following the choir with that. It's very regal. It's very kind of kingly and I don't know. There's just such a dark edge to it. Kind of gothic sounding. And then these other arco strings coming in now, just bowing. Bring in that Stranger Things bass. Pop drops. And it's just raining chiptune, baby. Love it, love it. there's how many? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 layers of synths. And then you've got the guitars. What are they doing? Just chugs, I think. Just endless. I remember doing this. Just endless chugs. Having to get them perfectly tight. Just your right hand like that. Just looking at your watch like, fuck me. Don't envy myself. I don't envy myself for having to do that. Does it lock in? Yes. Nice. Bass. Lead guitars here. Let's listen to those. Vibrato, man. Nice. Cool. What are we doing there? Then it just stays, leaving room for some vocals there. We back off with the lead guitar. Vocals come in here. And this is fun. This is fun. So I basically I've muted that section, but this little drum fill here, I just did like a lo-fi thing on it. Oh, and some backward reverb or something. I don't really remember what oh, well, I don't need to remember because it's all here. There's a I don't believe this. There's a phaser on that. That's it's slow in Tez. I thought it was going to be a slow Leslie again. I was going to have to ask some serious questions. So it's just like a weird lo-fi backwards sort of sample. Yeah, I've gone for that kind of standard telephone effect with the EQ, got the phaser on there, and a little bit of, yeah, reverse reverb. I put this reverse cymbal in as well. And that's been thrown in the hole, no doubt. And then a G-sharp subdrop again. Sub Destroyer. Nice. I think Plek might have actually used that little sample there, the drum sample of mine, in the final version. Alright, now arrangement-wise, we're going into a new section. This is one of the longest breakdown / spicy sections on the whole album, I think, and I really like it for that reason. I like to take a detour and go on a bit of a journey. That for me is exciting in a song. You know, I don't want to just be like, okay, verse, chorus. I want to kind of go somewhere else and then come back at the end and feel like I've gone somewhere, you know, and seen something or heard something different. And I'm always trying to keep this music as exciting as possible and not be too formulated, if you know what I mean. So this section is pretty simple. You have these staccato strings dancing along the top. When you isolate these sounds, you remember how epic they sound on their own. You wish you'd done more with it. It's so maniacal. I remember this being one of those songs where I could not switch off after I would go to bed and have this in my head and constantly be writing this song and constantly method acting and feeling like I was in that state of just madness, I suppose. I think that's how I write the best music sometimes, which is not necessarily the best way to live your life, but nice. Unusual arpeggiated neoclassical kind of riff. Okay, so these lead guitars, what are they doing? Left and right, octave chords again. Nice harmony. And then you've got these other lead guitars that come in here. That's beautiful. So much going on here. Nice. Cool. All right. Now you've got this cool section. Bit of a drop out there, never mind. Lead guitar plays a solo. There you go. You're the wrong colour, mate. Thank you. So sweet. Basic chords of the rhythm guitar. Nothing going on in the synth department. Okay, this is definitely the pre-chorus. So yeah, the yellow section is definitely the pre-chorus. We've pretty much got orange verse 1, yellow is pre-chorus, purple is chorus, red is just the intro riff, verse 2, pre-chorus 2, chorus 2, intro breakdown, which takes you on a massive journey through lime green, through toxic green, and then into the little hooky gratuitous guitar solo, because that's the way we go. That's the pink. Back into a pre-chorus, which is the yellow, and then chorus, obviously, because we need to come back to the home of the song, which is this. These fun synths here, just to remind you what's going on there. And then we're going to go back into the intro. Intro riff. We play that out one more time. You've got all the synths still going on there. And you can tell here there's a sub drop and a nice reverse crash cymbal that's going to go into this epic ending. Jesus, I need a new computer. I have a lot of plugins running at the moment. Cubase is usually absolutely fine on this computer on its own, but as I'm running OBS to capture the screen, it does crack the shits quite a little bit. I love that ending. It's so video gamey. Very cool. So that's it. That's the song. I mean, you can look at it there in its entirety. It's pretty fun to break that one down. So interestingly enough, I've just opened up the original version of this song. God, this is a mess. But over here at the end, there's all this stuff, which is outside of this kind of region. So the end of the song is there, and then afterwards I've noticed all this mess here. Now I've realized these are all ideas that didn't quite make it, or maybe just variations. So I don't know what these are. Let's have a listen together. So that's just like a halftime version of the main riff. It's groovy, I like it. That's cool. Genuinely don't know what these ideas are. Okay. What is that? Little. I think they're just sort of tail ends of the riff. That's kind of cool. I like that. I like that. That's sad. You know, I get sad when I hear a good idea that hasn't been used like that. That's cool. I like that a lot. I get quite sad when I hear an idea that, you know, didn't quite make it. That's very nice. I remember that so well. Why didn't that section make it? That is such a good chorus. Holy shit. I need to hear that. Let's turn this up. That's too good to waste. And this is just... If anyone wanted to hear what the DI guitars sound like without the neural... I'm using Fortin Nameless Suite from Neural for the guitars. Unbelievable plugin. So here's the DI guitar with no amp sound. That's what it sounds like. Just that dry signal. So nothing but this plugin. It's pretty rad. It's a little bit different to the original. Yeah, I like that. So thoroughly recommend this plugin. Phenomenal. All of the stuff from Neural is fantastic. Plini and Nolly, Abassi, and this, I think, probably get my vote as the top 4. I'll probably do a shootout soon for all of them. It's nice. I mean, anyone can have that tone. It's not hard to get. It's easily accessible and it's cheap. Plugins are taking over. It's been a pleasure to take you through this one. I want to keep sharing this stuff with you if you're interested. So just let me know if you want me to do another song inside the project. We'll keep rolling. If I didn't mention already, thank you so much. 10,000 subscribers is a huge milestone for me, and I'm going to do a lot more on YouTube going forward. So thanks for your support. Just a reminder to everyone, also, I'm on Patreon and I'm doing some exclusive vlogs. I'm doing some exclusive content on there, including live streams where you can actually sit in with me for a couple of hours and watch how I work writing a song from scratch. So jump onto Patreon and support me there if that interests you. Let me know in the comments which song you want to hear next, and we'll carry on with this video series. Thank you very much. I love you guys, and see you soon.